Our next speaker's passion is engaging closely with customers, partners, sales, and services teams and demonstrating how technology can solve all the new challenges and opportunities ahead. A leader in the ICT space, he leads Cisco's APJ service provider business and their 360-degree relationship in the region. A deep experience in building carrier class infrastructure with top service providers in the region, coupled with his deep expertise in the enterprise space, puts him in the unique position to partner with SPs in monetizing their B2B space with profitable managed services offering. Let's invite on stage Mr. Iyer, President, Service Provider APJ Cisco, for his opening address.
Look, this is a really hard act to follow, Randeep, right? It is. But I think it's such an honor for me to be here. And thank you, Pradeep, for inviting us, allowing us to be a part of this event. So I think in this session of 15 minutes, I want to first start off with the relevance of Cisco and the Indian telecom landscape. So I think for many of you here, what you'd be thinking, Cisco is not a wireless company. What does Cisco have to do with telecom? So I just thought, look, Cisco has been in India for 30 years. I joined Cisco in India in 1998, and I have had the single pleasure of seeing us grow over the years. And I think if you really ask me, I think it's been a marathon. And I think we keep coming back to different places, but the journey has just begun for us. So if you really look at it, way back in 2005, 2007, Cisco made a decision to build a development center in India. That development center today is the second headquarters for Cisco. We have over 18,000 people working for Cisco in India. And then through our partners, we have around 5,000 more people working with all the different ITSPs. So we have a massive operation in India. When we came to India, we thought we will build development, test, measurement, TAC. But right now, we innovate products from India. And one of the things I'm really proud of that we have done is in working with the telecom space to do frugal innovation. So when we speak about the fact that India went from 150th in data to the first in data, it's because we built transport factories at scale. We engineered them for Indian economics. They work, our routers, I think the previous speaker spoke about routers. Our routers work at plus 67, they work at minus 40, they work without a fan, and they consume the least amount of power. And with that, today I'm very proud that the innovations that we build with operators in India, like the ones who are sitting in this esteemed chair, are now the gold standard for Cisco globally. This product line that we built for India now contributes close to 10% of Cisco's revenue globally. And it's now become, like I was very proud to see AT&T adopt the routers that we built for operators in India, not just for Latin America, but even for rural America. So I think that is a testimony that we've been on this journey of frugal innovation where we're co-creating with partners in India. And I think there is so much more we can do. So the kind of the innovation we are doing for sports distribution, converging IP and optical infrastructure, and really building the data factories that can cater to the great demands that we have in India. So I'm now going to kind of change gears to talk about how can telecom operators keep evolving. So one of the biggest challenges in the market, I believe, is economic value creation. You've spent a lot of money investing in 4G, you've spent a lot of money investing in 5G. How do you monetize that so that the revenue is commensurate to the investment? And I think that's the real challenge in the industry across the globe. The second area where I see a huge opportunity for service providers is in the area of sovereignty and security. Because the network can be the sensor, it can be the enforcer, and I'm beginning to see a lot of cybersecurity threats growing every day. So how can the network be the sensor? How can the network be the enforcer? How can the network protect you? And if you really look at Cisco's mission, it's very simple. Whatever is connected needs to be protected. And I feel service providers have a critical role in helping us enable us do that at scale. The second area is sovereignty, data localization, data privacy. We are seeing a lot of the cloud workloads moving back. And I think service providers are best positioned to monetize that. I think we need to make the whole infrastructure more sustainable. And then I think the last key theme is around AI and autonomous networking. And I'm going to talk a lot about that as we go along. The area where we are really going to innovate a lot is around architectures. Is how do we create a differentiated experience for the consumer? And that's really about bringing services from the edge, like you spoke about entertainment, sports entertainment, and how do you create a differentiated experience and have the same experiences regardless you're in a train, you're in a bus, or you're on the move, or you're at home. So that's the area where we're going to innovate a lot. So I feel service providers will also evolve. And we are seeing that in Europe. We are seeing that in the US. You'll begin to see that here. They will evolve into two entities, what we call the netco, and then on the top we call the servco, so the service factory. So why will they do that? I think all the physical infrastructure will form an infraco and what we call a network provider. That's where most organizations are evolving to. So each of these entities may continue to be in the parent company, but they require very different mindsets, very different skill sets, and that's how organizations, I believe, will evolve. So what do we mean by that is the netco, the one in the bottom. The metric of success for a netco would be in simplifying the network, would be in automating that network, and actually leveraging the intelligence from the network. That entity is what we call the network. And in that network that they have built to connect their consumers will have to operate at scale. It will have to operate securely. And that will be the outcome that they need to deliver. And that's where things like autonomous networking would really come into the play and to make that whole infrastructure very programmable and scalable. The area at the top is the area that Randeep spoke about, the area of innovation. In taking the network as the platform, using APIs to build the service factories of tomorrow. Whether the service factories are B2B or the service factories are B2C, these service factories will transform industries, digitally transform industries, and will become the monetization engines or vehicles for service providers. So I think we in Cisco feel we have a unique opportunity to play on both sides of the house. And for that, we really need to make that infrastructure programmable. And that's the area that we are working on. Because as Cisco, we are already playing in the enterprise space, the public sector space, in the consumer space. It's really about bringing that, the right level of digital services, partnering closely with the service providers to help them monetize their assets, their physical assets, their network assets, and leveraging these services. And it's here that we see that we have one more customer, and that customer could be hyperscalers, the top 7 hyperscalers in the world. They are going after the same consumer. And one of the things that they've done really well is they've built a simple service catalog, and they have made it available uniformly across the globe. And I think service providers can take a leaf from that same playbook and be the transport provider of choice for these hyperscalers and leverage their netco assets. So that's how we see the industry evolve. And for service providers to do that, they need to accelerate their journey to autonomous networks. And this is where I feel service providers will transform from being the pipe provider to becoming the smart pipe provider. So it's conceptually a very simple thing to say, but what does a smart pipe really have that a dumb pipe doesn't have? A dumb pipe is connectivity. You add SLA, latency, delay, jitter. You add security. You make that pipe smart. And for that smart pipe, you can charge more because customers want business outcomes. And industries like financial services, smart grids, energy are ready to pay service providers, including hyperscalers, for richer, differentiated pipes. So I genuinely see service providers will become intelligent digital service providers. And that's the journey that we need to help them win and become be there with them in taking them on this journey. So I feel as Cisco, we have a role in the autonomous networking play around three key areas. Simplifying the networks. What do we mean by that? Today, if you really look at a service provider network, they have an optical layer, they have an IP layer, and how do you converge that from a network convergence perspective? How do you converge that from a service convergence perspective? How do you provide the end intelligence that you need for having that construct? And so once you make that infrastructure programmable, you add a layer of automation and what we call autonomics with network APIs, the one that Randeep spoke about. We have APIs that talk directly to different elements in the network, both from us as Cisco, but we have multi-vendor constructs and multi-domain constructs across IP and optical to enable you to leverage that to deliver that outcome. And then I think the last area where I feel there is going to be a lot of innovation is really around data intelligence. And this is an area, if you see, we made a big bet in acquiring Splunk because we believe that as Cisco, we are a great networking company. But in today's world, you need to be a great security company. And to be a great security company, you need to have great AI. And to have great AI, it's based on the data that you have. And that's how all this portfolio will come together, and we'll be able to correlate all of the different events to really give insights that can have differentiated actions for our customers. So this is a journey that we are on. It's an exciting one, and we want to innovate with service providers to help them deliver this autonomous network. Now I'm going to change gears to an area which is near and dear to me, which is B2B and B2C, is service factories. Now, what do we mean by service factories? I've just put a collection of potential service offerings around these areas, whether it's around enterprise connectivity, cloud, security, trusted services, collaboration services, IoT services, private 5G services. And now we are beginning to see this whole plethora of use cases around generative AI. So these are potential service offerings that I believe that service providers will start innovating. And depending on the DNA of the service provider, they may start. But I think just look at the next slide. There is a huge market in India today. Our estimate of the managed services opportunity in India is close to $3 billion across a few of those verticals that I spoke about. So it's here that we're going to see a lot of innovation. We're going to see a lot of co-creation. And I believe if you are able to bring these services, you look at from a managed network service, managed security services, both of them are equal size. I believe that the security market is actually as big as the networking market. And therefore, as service providers, if you can build a secure networking outcome to your end customer, you're going to create a very compelling offer. Because the network providers are trusted brands, and customers will want to outsource security as well to the same connectivity provider if they feel he's capable of offering those services. So obviously, I think for building service factories of the future, we need to innovate and create that perception of trust and deliver an outcome to the customer. So this is where I feel there's going to be a lot of innovation in the next few years. And if we get this right, service providers will win. And we want service providers to win here. And enterprise customers also want them to win. That's how we will build the profitability pools of the future. If you benchmark Indian operators to Europe, today if you look at the enterprise business in Europe in the balance sheet of say BT, Orange, Vodafone, it's close to 35% of their business. Operators here is still 10%. Non-mobile business is 10 to 15%. So it's naturally going to grow given the amount of digitization that's happening in India. So I think this is an area we are truly excited to partner with service providers. And this brings me to the last section, is where is Cisco innovating? Cisco is really innovating around three key pillars: platform, AI, and silicon. I don't know how many of you here know that actually Cisco is a silicon company. We make silicon. We make 3, 4, 5 nanometer silicon. that powers a router that works across silicon and optics. And that's a core area of our focus. So when we talk about carrying traffic at terabytes of speeds at very low power, it's because we make our own silicon. And that's the silicon. We have variants of silicon that go from 3 terabits to 51 terabits that power hyperscalers to small banks. So that's what we do. We're unified architecture, highly scalable for different use cases. That's one area. The second area at Cisco we're really focused on is artificial intelligence. All our products will become AI native. We power a lot of the AI infrastructure for a number of the hyperscalers. And I think the area we're really excited about is enabling security with AI at scale, leveraging the data lakes from different platforms that we have, including Splunk. The last area I want to leave you with is Cisco is a platform company. And I know you think of Cisco as a networking company, but we are a security company, we are an observability company with Splunk, and a collaboration company. But that's not the key area that we're really focused on. It's really about bringing all of that together, bundling it, and delivering an outcome for an enterprise, for a service provider. That's where we're really focused on. So this was to just give you a sense of how we in Cisco have been partnering with the telecom industry and how we intend to partner in the exciting journey that we have in the years to come. So with that, thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's open it to the floor for some questions. Yeah, we have one question here.
Hi, Vishesh. Can you throw more light on the observability?
Observability, oh, very good question. So look, I think what we mean by observability is, I don't know if you're aware of what we call 1,000 eyes. Essentially what we do is, we can measure the quality of the experience, real time. And then we can also find out how that experience has been in different times of the day. So for example, if you're a bank and you want to know in that ATM terminal, what was the quality of experience? Or you're watching an IPL game, what was the quality of experience on your mobile phone, on your home set-top box, or when you are in the move? We measure that. And then we can auto-correct with policy, saying, hey, look, I think in the morning at 8:40, when everyone comes to the office, there is too much traffic, maybe you need a backup link. Or you need to reroute this traffic to a better SLA and provide that information to service providers, to the end customers. So that's how we talk about observability. It's really about correlating different events and coming to an insight that helps you take a better action. Did that answer your question? So that's a huge space. It's still small. Like if I look at the networking market, it's $1 billion. Observability is a $100 million market, but I think that market will grow.
Great, thank you. One more question that side, please. Oh. I'll just come to you, sir.
Wish this new technology, and I'm Professor Dubey. My question is that how are we addressing the skill requirements? Because the new technology is being ushered, and we from academia, we want support from companies like Cisco and Deloitte and everybody. That how do I prepare our students to cater to your requirements?
Thank you for asking that question. Look, I am part of India's CSR board, Corporate Social Responsibility Board. So especially in the context of colleges and universities, we funded a program called Thinkubator that is essentially like a graded program in universities for 4 points, which is entrepreneurship and innovation. And we now have Thinkubators in 56 colleges in India. We fund that initiative, use the India CSR funds. And that's really to make the students think. We actually recruit students based on the Thinkubator program. We also provide them for every year. I think I'm in the 6th cohort now. We've started giving awards worth 5 lakh rupees to 10 teams from 10 colleges. Last year, we got 629 applications, and the top 10 teams won 5 lakhs for their idea. And some of them have started a startup, and one of them is even gone to Series D. So I think that is one dimension. I think the other dimension is the NetAcad program, where we train around 1.2 million people annually. That's again program. So I think we really want to build the skills future initiative. And even there, I think we have a virtual internship program where we spend 6,000 rupees and the government pays 6,000 rupees for 50,000 students. So we are big time into giving back, and I'm more than happy to work with you, Professor Dubey, to see how we can take this forward.
We have one question this side.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Satyan Gupta from ITU FET Foundation. Let me compliment you for very nice presentation. So my question is, like you are an innovation company, do you have a solution for these 5G, private 5G ecosystem in the country where they have a problem of getting spectrum? So can your technology help them to do 5G without licensed spectrum? I mean unlicensed spectrum and your technology.
Look, I think that's a more deeper discussion. We can absolutely discuss that. We do provide private 5G to mines, to various industries, both in the unlicensed spectrum as well as the unlicensed spectrum. And I think more than happy to have an offline conversation of your needs.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vish, for that presentation. And may I invite on stage PG to please present Vish Iyer a memento of our appreciation.